and welcome to the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting Podcast. We are two sisters and our lovely niece who come together. Who come together?
If you want to break into song, that would be fine, Dog. I'm sure you have a song that matches that.
Oh my gosh. So we actually are here today to share our love of knitting and also our love for the knitting. I really have screwed this totally up. Okay.
No, just keep going.
Okay.
So, who cares? Nobody listens to this first part anyway.
That's right. That's good. Thank you. We share our fondness for knitting, the things that we create, and our love for the knitting community. And we do it all with a little twist of both the frivolous and the frugal. I am Frivolous Dawn, and I am number 4 in our family's birth order of 8.
I'm Fearless Brianna, and I'm the daughter of number 5 in their family's birth order.
And I am Frugal Miss Penny, and I am number 1 in the birth order. And we are so excited that you're joining us today. A hearty welcome back to our returning viewers. Of course, that first part of our opening didn't shock you at all, but we're so glad you're joining us again. Stick with us. It should get better as time goes by. And for those of you who are viewing for the first time, we typically are lively, but it usually takes us a couple minutes to get there. We're hoping that today, as you follow us in our fiber venues and journeys and lessons, that you will glean a nugget or two from what we're learning. So without further ado, grab your knitting, your favorite note-taking device, and your sense of humor is already engaged. So join us for episode 51 of Frivolous and Frugal. Take it away, Dawn.
I was thinking they may want to grab their remote control and change channels. All right. Well, we will start with what is around your neck. And Miss Brianna, I don't know if I see anything. What's up?
Nope, but I do have something holding my yarn. I figure it's not the same thing, but it's kind of the same thing. So I have this really pretty bowl that I was gifted for Christmas, and it's a yarn bowl. So I have my yarn in there, and I have it up and around in the spiral. They have the 2 little holes for 2 different colors if you want to keep them separate. And this bowl is from Globe Clay Center in Stockton, Illinois, which is in Illinois, but it's close to my home in Iowa. And they have, it's 2 gals, and they have this pottery store. They have a website and sell things online, but I just love their stuff, mostly because of all the plant and earthy things that they have. If you can see, there's flower imprint in there.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
With some flowers.
Pretty.
Yeah. And each gal signatures their project. And so Joelle White did this one. So yeah, that's my show and share for today.
We're so glad you showed and shared.
Sure. And what is around your head, Miss Penny?
You all know what season I'm in. So today, the only thing I could endure is this beautiful woven cable headband. Isn't that gorgeous? And since you all know what I look like anyway, I'd like to just show you up close. Isn't that beautiful?
It is.
It is a pattern by Priscilla Uloho, and I knitted in the Fiber Company's Tundra base in the Silver Fox colorway, and it is knit on size 9s. So for me, Fiber earns $4 signs, possibly 5, but for the pattern, it earns a $1 sign because it's free and you can't get it on Ravelry, but they do have a hyperlink to it.
Very nice. I really like how wide that cable was.
I do too. And actually, I was going to give this away, but I may keep it. Now my hair is all staticky. So if y'all have any suggestions for that, you can put that in the chat. Okay. What about you, Dawn? What's around your neck?
Welcome to the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting and Hair Products podcast. I am wearing Storm by Joji Locatelli.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I should just show you. It is a 1 skein crescent shawl, and I like it.
Ooh, how pretty.
I use 92 grams, it said in my Ravelry page. The yarn is Suburban Stitcher sock yarn, and it's in the, you might have to help me with the pronunciation, Rorschach colorway, on a US 7. I bought the yarn when we were at ZK in, I think, 2019 and knitted in 2020. And you know what? I have been wearing these shawl cuffs almost every day. Let's see if I can remember this. That was the Felted Garden Etsy shop. Marsha Ward, I think, is the designer. And I can't believe how often I'm wearing it. It just really helps keep my shawls in place.
Absolutely. I like it.
And then it hides if my cleavage goes to the wrong place.
Quickly, Miss Brianna, is there anything else you might be wearing?
No.
Maybe a better question is, what are you working on right now?
Well, you know what? Hold on. What's Mo have on?
Oh, I was just trying to get you off cleavage. This is not Mo. This is Monique.
Oh, Monique.
And she is wearing the Doggie hat. Yes. And it is by two designers, Joanne Turcotte. I am assuming that's how you pronounce her last name. And Jodi Snyder. I knitted out of my scrappy Plymouth Encore in brown and ecru. And of course, it earns a single dollar sign for both the pattern and the fiber, because the pattern is free on Ravelry. And it's knit on size 6s and 8s. It is going to be, or is, number 28 in the hashtag 45 hats, 45 designers.
Very nice.
That's what she's sporting.
And Miss Ruby is wearing the Initiation Cowl. This was a class I took at Casting On in Appleton. Here's the pattern.
Oh, I like it.
Hope Vickman was the gal who taught the class, and she has published her pattern since then. So cool for her. It is worsted weight. I took it as a brioche class, and we did 1 color brioche to start with, and then we went to 2 color brioche. And you know, brioche is reversible, so there it is on the other side.
Very pretty.
Leading Men Fiber Arts in their worsted base, which I think is called Box Office. The pink is called Tiny Dancer. The gray is London Fog. I use London Fog a lot, and a US 7. So we definitely have been chatting a lot about brioche lately, and that was one of my excursions on my learning journey for brioche. So
very cool.
Very good. Now we can go to what's on your needles, Miss Brianna.
Oh, so did we decide how to say it? The Hermes hat? Are we going to say
the
Hermes?
Or
Hermes.
Hermes. I don't know.
I'm working on the Hermes hat, and I'm pulling one of my signature moves right now, where I've already knit 3/4 of the hat, and I'm starting over, and I don't want to pull it out, so I'm just so this is what I already knit.
Yes.
But I ran out of yarn, as you can see. Here's my little tail. Kind of sad. That's called a fail with Yarn Chicken. Overconfidence. That's what happened right there.
Boy, that is right color, right design. Look at that. Design is perfect with that color.
So what yarn did you use for that, Miss Brianna?
Let's see, where's my ball band? I have a ball band. But this is the same yarn that I used for my chicken hats.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. It's from Michael's, or from Hobby Lobby. It's Beehive Patents Beehive Baby Sport.
Oh, we just need to see if we can get you some more of that so you can finish that hat.
You know, but I think it's a little wide because I'm using size 9 needles instead of I'm using size 7 needles instead of whatever they suggested. And I'm holding my yarn quadrupled because I wanted it to be plushy and a little thicker than what it looked like in the picture.
Oh, Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you're holding it quadrupled.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. Keep notes on that though, darling, because there may be others out there who like the idea of a thick, squishy hat and they'll want to know how much yarn to use.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're holding 2 DKs, which is probably a heavy, would you say an Aran? Maybe not worsted, but Aran weight?
Probably. Yep. Because yeah. So I'm gonna do 2 colored now. I'm getting a little crazy on you. I think I'm gonna do a black brim. That's what I'm working on right now.
All right.
And then I'm gonna do black on the pearls and yellow on the knits.
You're going to frog that to do the knits?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna knit off of the
Brilliant.
end. Yeah.
That is brilliant.
And I think it just takes so much yarn because of the knit 2 purl 2 and because of the little cable. And so I was like, well, I don't know if it'll use all of my 2 skeins that I had here, but it'll take a pretty good dent out of both of them. So, yep.
Brilliant.
So
idea.
this one has the 112 stitches cast on, and I cast on 96 here because I thought it was too wide.
Mhm.
It kind of ate my whole head when I put it on. So,
You know what? You are fearless for that very reason.
I know. Yes.
Well,
She
yeah.
didn't
I'll
even
try it.
ask us what she thought. She just decided, I'm going to give it a try. That's why you are fearless, Miss Brianna, darling. That is
well,
wonderful. Don't change that.
cool.
We are so glad you're related to us.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we'll only share you by marriage to someone else. Okay.
Oh, long time. Yeah.
So
Well, you know
Dawn, what's on your needles?
I'm working on the exact same hat, and I literally just did the provisional cast on. So I am using this color. It'll be interesting. It's a brighter blue. It is a DK from Brew City Yarns in the Rowena colorway. It was a kit I bought for a Harry Potter shawl in the Ravenclaw colorways, if you're into Harry Potter. And I decided I'm not a Ravenclaw, I'm a Gryffindor, so can't knit that. So I'm going to try to see if that shows that pattern well. I'll be interested to see when I get there. And I'm wondering, Brianna, if I'm going to have the same thing. That looks a little big to me.
Yeah, it shrinks up. 'Cause
Okay,
mine's
so maybe that'll
really
be okay.
wide, but it shrinks up.
Okay, I guess I'll just, well, I'm on row 1. I guess I'll keep going.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and you know what? I didn't write down what size I'm on, but I'm following the pattern. So whatever the pattern calls for. And that's was that a paid for pattern? I can't even remember. A paid for pattern on Ravelry. And Brew City Yarn, I'd probably have to go $3 signs on that. So on the Frugalometer. And what about you, Miss Penny?
And since I am monogamous, I was hoping to have a finished project this week. I am oh so close and yet so far away. I am doing, let me just button this top button to give you some idea. I am doing the christening gown from the tapestry set by Jodi Lamb for a granddaughter who was just born this week. So
look at
I
that.
have finished the gown portion, the bodice of both the front and the back. I've got all 4 buttons. I just didn't button them. I have 1 sleeve finished. I'm working on the 2nd sleeve. Then I'll seam both sides, tack down the back button band, basically is what it is. I'll show you very quickly here. I unbutton them, and I tried something different here this time. So you can see in this pattern, we have that little placard right here. I just have to tack that down.
Oh.
I sewed on buttons as I went, so my buttonholes matched perfectly. I've never done that before. I've always followed the pattern. The pattern says mark where your buttons go, sew the button band or knit the button band, come back, put your buttons on as one of the last items. And that's how this pattern is written. But I decided, no, I'm going to put those on right away so I know exactly where to space them. So it'll be a finished object next week, certainly.
And did you mention the yarn?
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't. It is knit in Plymouth Dream Baby DK in the white colorway. Obviously, it gets a single dollar sign for the fiber as well as for my pattern because I only paid $1.29 for the entire book.
Oh, wow.
That is the epitome of frugal right there. That is amazing.
And I may have tried to talk them down to a 50% off sale. I'm not sure. But anyway, it earns a single dollar sign.
How fun.
Are
All
you
right.
knitting anything else? Anything else on your needles, Miss Brianna?
Yes, I'm knitting our knit along for we cast on New Year's. Tenacity.
Oh,
So this is mine.
Look.
It's all wrinkly, but and then whoa, look at that little accoutrement.
ooh, that stitch marker rocks.
Frivolous and frugal. But that's how far I got in January, and then February you can see the little spores. But
Well, you're
Yeah.
back in school.
yep. Yes, I am.
So anything that you're learning from Tenacity? Anything that's been challenging? Enjoyable?
I am starting to really love it. I'm not going to call it mindless knitting yet, but I've memorized the pattern. And so I can just sit and knit and I don't have to, worry about going back and forth with my pattern or bringing my pattern with me. I'll just grab it, to knit through church or knit through lecture or whatever I'm not supposed to be knitting through. And so that's been a new development and I've enjoyed that more because probably until, January, I was like looking at my pattern quite a bit and it slows you down so much. You can't really get into a rhythm. So I've been enjoying that.
And what yarn is that?
Let's see. I don't remember who I have the same yarn with it. Is it you, Aunt
Yep.
Penny?
Oh, it's me. Yep.
It's with
Oh,
Aunt
okay.
Joanne.
It's the Regia Premium Silk.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And yours is a pale pink?
Yep. I don't remember what we called it. Chartreuse or
no,
what?
was it
Rose? Blush?
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't remember.
Blush. Yeah. It's a pale pink.
But I think, Miss Brianna, you just demonstrated something that's really important for new knitters, and that's the importance of keeping your ball band with your fiber. Because should you need to order more, you have not only the color, but the dye lot. Secondly, if you had to substitute or decided to change colors and you didn't have Regia's Premium Silk, you could order another type of yarn with similar content and construction, and you could use that so that your fibers match when it comes to care and how it's going to wear. So I think that's really important, and I'm glad you're keeping those. Yeah.
So I'll follow up with Tenacity as well. So there's the pattern. It's a paid for pattern on Ravelry, and the designer is Cold Comfort Knits. I'll show you mine. I'm glad I didn't have my ball band, so that's why I kind of asked you that, Brianna.
Oh, gotcha.
Here's mine. So you'll see my marker where I was at the end of January, and it says January. Look at that. Wow. So in the mail coming to Brianna and Penny and Miss Renee, who's also doing this with us, I will send those out this week. So every month we're going to figure this is going to take us at least a year. And if it takes us 2 years, we'll just move the markers as we go. I get those from an Etsy shop called Karen's Hobby Room, and she is delightful. She's the one who does my right side and wrong side markers too. So let me tell you a little bit about our issues when we all casted on Tenacity. And we all started New Year's Day, and I think we all started separate, but one day during knitting with the aunties, Brianna held hers up to the camera and it looked so different than mine. So then we started measuring. It's supposed to be, I forget, like 16 inches wide. Mine was 23. I mean, my gauge was so far off, I was in like a different time zone. And Brianna's was a little bit bigger than I think it was supposed to be, but relatively close to 16 inches. So I sent a message to the designer. Alexis is the designer's first name. And I'm telling you, she responded right back. And she helped me figure out my gauge versus the gauge that she got, my yarn versus the yarn that she used for the pattern. And we decided to drop down a needle size. And also I cast on 30 less stitches because of the difference in the yarns. And I'm telling you, I love it. And I think now mine looks like what I liked in Brianna's when she showed hers. So I'm on a US 1.5. This is going to take me at least a year. I am using the silver, it's silver blah, BLAU. So I'm assuming that means gray in some language. And so it's just a very light gray. And we have 5 skeins. So
Well, tell
I'm
us
right.
how many skeins you have.
Well, I know. Don't tell Penny. I bought 2 extra just in case because Miss Renee did the.
What?
I know I bought 2 extra. And here's why. Well, there wasn't a reason in the beginning. I just did it. But Renee did the math out, and these are only at this gauge. I'm only going to get 76 inches with my 5 skeins, and I want it to be 100. So, and Brianna, I think you'll have the 5 skeins.
I do have 5, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have to see if you like it at 70 inches or whatever it is, if we need to order more or what. But yeah, and I was hoping January would be a little bit longer, but we ripped and tinked and ripped and tinked. So I didn't really get going, I don't think, till about the end of the first week in January. But the designer was brilliant. And that actually is my segue to what I was learning this week. You know, I use that phrase often called seek expert consultation. And I emailed not knowing, I sent her a message in Ravelry, and part of me says, oh, you can't contact a designer. You know, but oh my goodness, what a delightful messages back and forth. And she said she was going to follow our progress on Ravelry and maybe even the podcast. So we'll see. And so we plan on showing our tenacity every time Brianna joins us. But if you can't get a pattern to work, I would encourage everybody to contact the designer. And I tell the story often about a friend of mine was knitting a Louisa Harding pattern that is no longer in print. And so I asked Penny what's the rules of copyright on that? Because I don't want to copy a pattern if there's a way for me to somehow get it. And you just told me, email Miss Louisa, just like she's my BFF. Mm-hmm. And so I did, and she sent me the pattern. Yeah, I'm thinking, wow. So the designers, at least the ones that we've dealt with, have been overly gracious. They're teachers at heart probably, and want you to be happy with their designs, and they were willing to sit down and work it out. So that is actually what I've been thinking about this week. Don't hesitate to go back to the designer and get additional assistance if you need it.
And Dawn, may I add something quickly about the copyright? I'm not sure all of us understand that copyright protects intellectual properties. And so when we have patterns in the knitting world that are offered for free, such as on Ravelry, we are welcome by law to make a copy of that for someone else. There's no infringement on that person's copyright protection or their intellectual properties. But when we have paid for patterns that we purchase from either a book or even a digital copy that's paid for, that means that that person is giving one person the permission to use that pattern. So you pay for the permission to use their intellectual properties, their pattern. By law, it's illegal to make copies of paid for patterns and share them with one another. So I think it's important for us as we're looking in the fiber world to make sure that not only pay is equitable for lessons and for presentations, but that as members of that fiber committee, we uphold our integrity to know that if someone has gone to the trouble to design a pattern, pay a photographer, publish it and then sell it for a price, it behooves us in our integrity and ethics to pay that price for the pattern if we want it, rather than asking a friend to make a copy of it. So that leads us into why Dawn asked what she should do. So how does she approach that? And so there's the reasoning behind it, just in case you have never had that explained to you before.
Thank you. And so what are you learning this week, Miss Penny?
Oh my goodness. I am learning something that those of us who have been in education understand, but perhaps maybe forget. And it is that the most important element in learning, I believe, is the teacher. And I want you to know this week, I had the privilege and the honor to sit in on my sister's knitting lessons. I've never taken lessons from my sister, Dawn, but I got to tell you, Dawn, I said it to you, but I want to say it again. You are a gifted teacher. Oh my goodness, that's your lane. Don't get out of it. I took her brioche class, beginning brioche, and just so you know I'm being monogamous this time, but one thing about learning is you have to practice something that you've learned. So I am only allowing myself to knit 4 rows a day on this because I am monogamous. But I'm doing that so I don't forget what my teacher taught me. And I hope at some point to be able to share with you all that Dawn will be offering classes virtually. We're kind of nudging her in that direction, but I think everybody in that class, Dawn, would agree that the pattern's well written, absolutely well written. But it's the teacher that brings it to life. And you have such a gift and way of doing that. So I was reminded of the importance of the teacher in the learning process. So thank you, sis.
Yeah, thank you. That was very gracious.
So Miss Brianna, what are you learning?
Oh, I'm learning how to be, how did I say it? I wrote it down. I'm learning knitting abstinence. Yeah. Well, because I'm in school and I'm pretty busy, and now I have a few more extra things on my schedule that I'm preparing for postgraduate plans. And so I don't have a lot of knitting time. And it's so weird because I look at my projects and I'm like, oh, they look like they're moving at turtle speed because I just don't have the time to commit to them. But it's always a joy to pick up my knitting when I get the chance. But yeah, so I'm practicing knitting abstinence for the monogamous knitters out there. And the, what are you?
I'm polygamous. Yeah.
Polygamous. I wanted to say polyamorous. I was like, that's not right. So polygamous. Yep. So I'm abstinent.
That is funny.
It is funny.
So what's new at Frivolous and Frugal?
I got to tell you, Dawn, there are some exciting things happening. Number one, we're not yet at 2,000 subscribers, but the moment we get there, we will be having a nice hefty giveaway. So we'll keep you posted on that. We have a giveaway for this week, though. We had an ongoing discussion in episode 50 on YouTube, and we were asking our knitters what are their favorite projects or project. And Dawn, I would say overwhelmingly, it was socks, hand knit socks. Would you agree?
Yep.
It was. And for a variety of reasons. And one of our viewers, I think, actually coined a new trifecta, the sock trifecta. She likes them because of the fiber, the feel, and the warmth. And so I thought that was really cool. Now, there were oodles of wonderful patterns suggested. And I have to tell you, if you scroll through those comments, just keep one of the windows in your browser open with Ravelry, type in the pattern name. I'm here to tell you, you're going to be adding some favorites. But we had a giveaway, and our random number generator selected Miss Cindy Ehlers.
Yay.
Yay. She is a local knitter with Dawn who frequents Magpie's Cottage in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin. And I have to tell you, her entry was just precious. She said that she wears most, besides her hand knit socks, which she wears all the time, is this multicolored loose weave infinity scarf. She said, I double it to wear it as a fashion accent, and I triple it to wear it under my coat when it's very cold outside. Keeps my neck warm, and I can even pull it the back up over her head to use it as a hood. So Miss Cindy, congratulations. Thank you for your faithful participation. And Dawn will be getting in touch with you to hand off your gift. And for those of you who joined in, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Keep trying, because we truly do use a random number generator. And so your chances are increasing each time you play with us. So also, we will be having our Finish, Fix, Flip, or Frog It Cow giveaway. And that's going to be after episode 52. So if you've not jumped in on that thread, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You don't even have to read the comments, scroll through the pictures. It's so inspirational. So if you want to be eligible for that drawing, please jump on that cow, and it is in a thread on Ravelry. So that's what's happening with our giveaways and YouTube and Ravelry. Now, for those of you who have been waiting with bated breath for the next virtual knit together during the daytime, wait no longer. It's going to be February 27th. That's a Saturday morning. We are meeting from 10 till noon Central Standard Time. This is just a delightful way to start your weekend.
Yeah.
Get up, join us, stay in your jammies. We don't care. Bring a cup of hot coffee or tea. We will open the room approximately an hour before the event begins. That way, if you're having technical difficulties, we can help you. Also, we will always remind you that you are choosing your own level of participation. We don't force anyone to chime in and share. But if you feel so inclined, we'll always ask, so what's on your needles or what's off your needles? So have those handy so that you can lift them up and share not only the pattern name, but the fiber that you're using for that project. And then this month, the next question that we will use to guide our 2 solid hours of knitting talk. That's all it is. We just chat about our knitting. So if we get to it, our second question is going to be, what was your favorite project to knit and why?
Yeah.
I'm anxious to hear that one. I have a hunch that we're going to hear about some learning and some knitting trifectas where color, pattern, and fiber just meet very nicely. So again, that's going to be February 27th, Saturday morning from 10 till noon Central Standard Time. Now, if you can't make our Saturday mornings, then you will likely want to join us for our March virtual knit night, where we will meet on March the 13th from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for, once again, 2 hours of concentrated knitting talk and sharing. Again, we'll post the link in Ravelry in a thread. And by the way, I didn't mention this with the other knitting event. If you are not on Ravelry, but you would like to join us, just email me at my email address below in our show notes, and I'll be happy to send the link out to you via email. So we're looking forward to meeting up with our friends once again. I think the three of us would agree in saying it is just so stinking much fun. Wouldn't you agree? It's just fun. You get to meet everyone. You get to hear and see what they're working on real time. It's wonderful. So I think those are the big things that are happening right now in Frivolous and Frugal. But we can't go much farther before we review our honorable mentions, because we had a couple of honorable mentions for today. As Miss Brianna shared, we have the Globe Play Center from Stockton, Illinois, and the wonderful ceramic artist or potter, whichever she prefers to be called, Miss Joelle, and her wonderful creation of the yarn bowl. A shout out to you, Miss Joelle. We also don't want to forget the Felted Garden, because that is an Etsy shop that Dawn uses quite frequently. But that's not the same as who you got your monthly progress marker keepers from. That was
Nope.
from Karen, correct?
Yeah,
Or is it
Karen's,
the
I
same?
think it's Karen's Hobby Room on
Karen's Hobby.
Etsy.
Okay.
And then can I share with you the bag that Joanne
Oh,
sent us? Or
absolutely.
she gave it to me actually. This is a new bag called the Screen and Snap bag. Joanne from Magpie's Cottage. We will put the link in the show notes. But I like that you can see through the mesh.
Yes.
Now, this was a prototype bag. So after we looked at it, we suggested that the bag be just a little bit wider. But the purpose of this bag and the snaps, which I think are brilliant, is we put 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn down here, all, like 3 different colors. And you can bring 1 strand up between the snaps. So you could have 3 coming up and they don't get twisted. I just think that is brilliant.
That is very brilliant. I like
Yeah,
it.
and of course the cute little yarn with the cute little fabric with balls of yarn and the contrast in the inside. Yeah, so thank you, Joanne. As always, your sewing is meticulous. And I don't sew, but I can't believe that mesh is easy to work with. Again.
I can't imagine that either.
And it's protected on the inside with something. Again, I don't sew so that it doesn't snag your yarn. So
Ooh, very nice.
yeah, so wow. I think I need 1 or 4 of these. Okay.
Well, of course, why wouldn't you? And speaking of sewing, we received 2 gifts this week from Miss Suzanne, who goes by Sew Run Knit on Ravelry, and she has donated 2 knitting totes for us for upcoming giveaways. So thank you, Miss Suzanne, for your gracious gift, and we look forward to passing that along to someone. All right, now, in all humility, some of you called me out last week because I forgot what would Nikki say, and I'm embarrassed. And for those of you who don't know who Nikki is, she is number 3 in our birth order. She is our very faithful sister who supports us with great analytics and statistics, and she just cheers for us like nobody else. Those of you who have been on our virtual knitting events have met her, but totally last week I forgot to read what Nikki said. And so you get 2 for the price of 1 today. Are you ready? Okay. So last week, this is what Nikki would have said. And someone remembered to read it. She said, taking a moment to reflect brings back many thoughts and memories of how you brought joy to someone else, whether it was in your teaching, your knitting, or your golfing. She reminds us to cherish it and then pass it forward. And what a time. We should be passing it forward, shouldn't we? And I now think her next saying is applicable to all 3 of us this week. So in your minds, you heard what Nikki said last week. Just set that to the side. And this is her timely word for us today. Success comes in many ways. It can be a finished project, seeing a student accomplish something, or maybe even a round of golf. Take a step back, smile, and enjoy the success.
Yeah, that's good.
So we've all experienced that in one way or another. So thank you, sis, for forgiving us for your omission last week. You are in this week, and we're going to do our best never to forget you again. And love, did I forget anything else?
Oh, dear.
Thank you. Okay, so my husband listens to this live and he's like, I couldn't remember you saying anything about Nikki. Well, why didn't you yell at me? Okay, so that's just why I asked him.
And when you said it's humility, we were so proud of ourselves for getting done so quickly last week. It's like, you think one of us would have thought, did we forget something? No.
So listen, we have found it absolutely delightful to spend this week with you with episode 51. We are looking forward to seeing many of you, we hope, with our virtual knit nights. But until we meet again for episode 52, may your week be a sweet twist of the frivolous and frugal. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.